The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 6 thoughts. This episode is called TS-19, which I believe is lead speak for T.S. Eliot. Just kidding. Another episode I love. Spoilers for every episode leading up to and including this one. The episode is rated, I'm guessing, TV-14, since the other ones were. And yeah, this video might be short. I'm probably going to try to talk fast. I do want to get to everything, but my back, yeah, you know. Let's dive right in. So, yeah, this was a really solid season finale. And let's see. Okay, some of this stuff is going to be chronological. Some of it is not. So, yeah, I really thought they made great use of the facility and the various traits and how, like, essentially, like, for a while, it really does seem like heaven. You know, they can finally take a shower. It seems like it truly is safe, you know, and I quite appreciate the different reactions to the shower. Some of them just enjoying being able to shower. Some of them enjoying being able to shower together again. And Shane, yeah, filling his body with as much liquor on the inside as the outside of his body is being covered in you know, shower water. But yeah, you know, by the end of the episode, we realize it was not exactly heaven, though it might take them there if they stayed for long enough. And yeah, some really great payoffs to set up in this episode. You know, I said, you know, I told you, when that door closes, it does not open again. You heard me say it. He's not wrong. He just didn't fill in all the details. You know, they thought, oh, we'll be safe here and they're secure. So it's okay that the door does not open again. And they might have also not taken it quite so literally. It might have been like, you know, if you're on the outside of the door when I close it in a, you know, just shortly from now, I'm not going to let you back in. You know, they might not have, you know, because why would he not let them leave, you know? And the, you know, Chekhov's hand grenade, also great to see, used. There was, this episode had the most CG of the first season, and I thought they did a good job. Like, it looked quite good, and not just, like, for the time and for TV budget. It was good. And, you know, some of it, like, fire is one of those things that are very difficult to make look good. So, yeah, they really made an effort to make it look great. Must have had a decent budget for it, too, for it to turn out quite that well. Anyway, yeah, right, yeah, just briefly, TS-19, that was really gripping, finding out, you know, that was his wife, and so he was determined to stay. And now we also understand why he was like, I don't know, maybe I'll, you know, blow my brains out, because one way or the other he was going to die in, you know, less than, yeah, he specifically said tomorrow, you know, and now it's been, yeah, by the end of this episode, it is tomorrow from then. So, yeah, basically he was saying, I don't know if I'll wait or if I'll just do it with a gun. You know, if I'll wait for the, what was it, facility-wide, I forget the exact word. It wasn't cleansing, but let's go with that. Yeah, and there was also great, you can see the timer in the background of several shots. The camera never gives it a close-up until, I want to say, Dale is the one who's like, you know, don't mean to be Columbo here, but I do have one more question. You know, what is the deal with the timer? And, yeah, you know, if you only look at it very shortly before it gets a close-up, you might think, oh, it's just a digital watch, whatever. You know, it's just, that's how that's all he has to keep track of what time it is or something. But if you pay close enough attention, you will notice it is counting down. It's not counting up. So it's not a watch exactly. And it's just, yeah. yeah, it was nice seeing the kids just playing, just the board game, and the thing about all the books and such. And that does, of course, bring us to the attempted rape scene. And I have expressed before, I hate when a rape scene is filmed in a way that is supposed to be erotic, or if it's just there for shock value, or, like, essentially, I'm not saying that we should never depict rape in fiction. One of my favorite movies remains 2003's Monster. One of the reasons why I think it works there, one of the things I think we should strive for when depicting rape in fiction, it actually explores what it does to someone, and we see that here. The yeah, the crying and fear afterwards, and you see her tension when Shane joins them for breakfast, and his little comment also. And the way it's filmed, like, we can appreciate how Shane reaches the, yeah, why the idea comes into his head, in addition to him being drunk, without the camera suggesting that she's, like, asking for it, which is, of course, always a ridiculous thing to say. He's looking at her bare legs, but the camera's making it clear, like, she's not sexually objectifying herself, so the camera isn't sexually objectifying her either. It's not filmed to be erotic, it's filmed to be upsetting, and it is very effective, very upsetting, And, let's see, yeah, and I appreciate how, we don't know at first that it is going to escalate to that point. At first, like, it's one thing that he's, like, looking at her and thinking about sex. That doesn't have to mean he's going to try to rape her. But the little things, he keeps saying no to her, and, at first he says, "You're going to listen to me," but he's trying to take control of the situation, and then he blocks her exit. It escalates in a very credible way, and just, yeah, I thought they did a really great job. It is a scene that starts with Shane just expressing frustration with the situation, and culminates in him being prevented from raping her. And that is the thing. That's what a lot of people don't realize, because, in part, because we've been lied to in a lot of fiction. Rape is more common to happen, like we see in this episode. Someone is drunk or otherwise, not fully thinking, and it's a person who already knows the rape survivor, and stuff like that. To be clear, it's not always, sometimes the person is completely lucid, but yeah. And let's see, the situation won't necessarily start out as a rape or a rape attempt. It's not this thing of, stranger jumping out of the bushes at night kind of thing. That's much less common than what I just described and what we see here. Now, I think that does cover... Yeah, I don't know exactly what the long-term outcome of the rape attempt is going to be, since this episode doesn't really get into it. Just, he makes the snide comment, which is also like, holy crap, dude. Just, yeah, the thing, that's not like me. He's... Yeah. Let's see. I think that does get us nicely to... Right, I really appreciated Jenner's characterization. Like, yeah, he does... It's sort of this thing of, like, he's lost hope, but he's not, like, this stereotypical kind of madman. Like, he is... I don't want to say he's right. That's not what I'm saying, to be clear. but you can understand his perspective, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, if, like, leaving the facility does mean facing the Horde, and staying in there, it's quicker and less painful, you know. And let's see. I was a little unclear on, maybe someone in the comments can help clear this up. The bit of zombie flesh that he was testing on in the episode before this one, was that TS-19 also in the lab before it was on fire? Oops. I'm not entirely sure. I guess it might not be. I just feel like that would add extra pathos to it. And I think that might just about... Let's see. I feel like there's at least one more thing. Maybe I'll think of it before we get... But yeah, once they realize, oh yeah, the facility is going to self-destruct, the various reactions. Some people are pleading, some people cry, and, Daryl engages in violence, some against the door, some... Well, ultimately he isn't able to commit violence against Jenner, but he threatens, and Shane threatens, and it's one of those things where, like, we know Shane is smarter than this, but yeah, he's just desperate, because, like, why would Jenner help just because you threatened to kill him? He just said he's going to die too. This is not one of those things. Like, this would work if, like, let's say that Jenner was inside the facility, Shane was outside, everybody else was inside, and Shane was, like, pointing a gun at the head of someone Jenner cared about that he felt would be safer outside the facility. That would... But yeah. I really appreciate the realism that they are not able to destroy the door into the main room there, the computer room, because that is what it was built. It was built to withstand, attacks. And let's see. Then we have the what was the other thing? Right, it's also very credible that Lori, I already mentioned the crying, and she's, like, trying to hide it from Rick, and essentially, like, there's some chance that Rick is just gonna pass out drunk, or he's gonna assume she's asleep since she's facing away from him and, lying completely still and not, I mean, I guess maybe at least one of them is worn out. They did shower together earlier, but other than that, one could understand if both of them were in the mood to celebrate in a certain way. Let's see, yeah, but, she's crying and she's trying to hide it, yeah, as much as possible from Rick. And Rick does perceive it, and he thinks it's just fear, or maybe it's a mix of fear and relief or something like that, And she doesn't tell him, at least yet. And that, again, is something that is very credible. It happens a lot in real life as well. And sometimes it is indeed because the person that the rape survivor would be telling is friends with, or otherwise, trusts the person that attempted or carried out rape. And that's, again, we have to do more to fight rape culture, because nobody should ever fear coming forward and saying that they were attacked. Now, I think that... right, the thing... Yeah, them all eating and drinking, and I like the thing with, Carl does get to drink a little, and he's like, yuck! And Laurie's like, that's my boy, just, yeah. And she's like, let's not let it go to waste. So she pours the wine into her own glass, which is also one of those things. I mean, they have the same germs, probably, so that's fine. And let's see, the thing with, Shane is like, well, what are the answers? We came here specifically for answers. And, yeah, Jenner doesn't really hold back. He gives them the answers that they asked for at that time, at least. Doesn't tell them about the facility, the countdown and everything. I mean, this guy, you just gotta ask him directly. You just gotta make sure to think of the right question and ask him. You know, it's like that thing in iRobot. You know, I'm sorry, that's the wrong question. You know, just as long as you directly ask him the right question. You know, I don't know. Is this like a paladin lawful good or wait, I guess chaotic good thing? Like you just yeah. Um, he tells the truth if you directly ask him. He just won't come out and say, because like if the moment he opened the door, if he immediately said, if you stay here you will die in, what was it, like 20 hours or something by then, something like that, you know, yeah, they might not have gone in. Let's see. But yeah, you know, Shane is like, let's get some answers. Jenner gives them, and again, some really, I really appreciate the credibility of this stuff of, you know, some left to be with their families, you know, and some of them ended up committing suicide. And it's so random that the French were the ones who held out the longest. I don't know. I guess between all the wine drinking and love making and the strikes, so many strikes. To be clear, I'm not one of those people who hate the French for no reason. I love most aspects of, you know, I think they have wonderful culture and but yeah, there are a couple of things about their, yeah. Anyway, yes, the yeah, and you know, yeah, bring down Bummer Dude. That's what you just were, Jenner. And I do appreciate Glenn accurately said, you know, Shane, what do you do? You know, because Jenner did just answer what, you know, and Shane's just sitting there like, I thought it might contain a fun anecdote. Leave me alone. And there near the end, I really did think, like, yeah, Andrea, I thought she really was going to stay. And it is this thing of like, yeah, you know, without Amy, you know, it's clear that they were both very worried about each other. They were basically all each other really had. And, you know, right, also, real quick, so I don't forget, the thing with, you know, axe against the window and then grenade. I don't know if it would work in real life because, again, they are made to withstand stuff like that. But, oh no, wait, yeah. That's after the shutters were raised, right? The shutters are the ones that completely keep out. Oh, yeah, fair enough. No, I have no issue anymore. Because, yeah, I want to say his name is T-Dog. He was able to open the shutters. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, right. I have no idea how I forgot to mention. I thought it was very powerful when Carol had to finish off Ed in the episode before this one. But yeah, let's see, and yeah, you know, it's a relief that they're driving off there at the end. You know, almost all of them did make it, but it is also this kind of bittersweet thing of there was no cure. You know, apparently no one in the world, or if anyone in the world did, certainly they, you know, they weren't able to get the information out to you know, CDC. You know, I believe this is the actual headquarters. So, yeah. What was the other thing? There was at least one more thing I wanted to say before I move on to, or move back to. What was it? There was definitely something. The let's see. Crap. Maybe I'll remember before I'm done completely with the video. But yeah, yeah, it did really seem like Andrea would, you know, stay in and suicide. And I was starting to think, does someone working on this show really not want there to be very many blonde white women? Because like two episodes in a row, that seems just kind of excessive. But yeah, ultimately Dale is able to talk her out of it. But I'm afraid I forget her name. But the African American woman does stay behind. You know, still. The let's see. Yeah, yes, right. So yeah, Dale talks to Andrea, and I don't think I'm going to go too much into, basically he's doing that thing of like trying to talk someone out of suicide, and yeah, I can understand his point of view. I don't think I think I need to think more about exactly how I feel about, you know, because I am in favor of euthanasia. And I'm still trying to figure out where I feel like the line is drawn between suicide and euthanasia, so I will just say that I certainly respect people who feel the way Dale does, and I don't know that the episode is necessarily asking us to agree. I think it is really just saying this is how he feels. There's a lot of the characters, possibly more or less all of them, over the course of this season, I think nearly every character who's like had character moments has said or done something that I feel like we're not supposed to think is just like unequivocally good. It's, we're supposed to think, what would I do under those circumstances, rather. But yeah, and they're right before the explosion, Jenner, well, Dale and, Andrea left. I guess it's just you and me. Oh, she left as well. Okay.